Hi guys, and welcome back to Tea Time with Livvy. I hope you're all okay. On today's episode, I thought I would touch on the topic of kind of how like generations are changing. And for example, I kind of went into this little bit of a rabbit hole when I was speaking to Emmy, who's my younger sister. She's 16, and just watching her grow up in general, I feel like it's crazy how like what's the word for it? How much younger everyone is when they're doing certain things or when they're reaching a certain point. Like even when I was young, I feel like it was starting to creep in where there's just so many more things accessible now when you're at such a young age than what they used to be like years ago, which I suppose you would consider as normal, but it's actually, I feel like for the younger generation, it's actually so scary and damaging. And with me having a younger following, I feel like I really want to touch on a few things which are definitely more serious than the stuff that I usually talk about, but it's important that I do speak on it really, because I feel like with the audience I've got, you never know who these things can benefit, and that is what this is here for, as well as to make you all laugh. Yeah, so tea time with Livvy. Tea time with Livvy. Where to start with it really is what I mean by accessible. I mean it in so many different ways. And I do feel like social media plays such a big part in everything. Like whether it's down to surgery, whether it's down to getting lip filler, boob jobs, and then it even goes into more serious things such as when you start using and taking drugs and drinking, and it all does massively play a part online. I feel like maybe that's why it's starting to be aimed a lot more at younger people, because we're all so fucking chronically online that you can't help but see it. So it's more there in your face, you get what I'm saying? So when I was young, I feel like, and maybe it was probably starting as well, but I remember when I was at school, I feel it's crazy to think that you're such an innocent being in your younger years, and then there's like a day where something will be introduced to you, something will happen, and that will change. And the scariest part is now is it's happening to younger people, like 14, 15, even younger, to be honest, especially when it comes to lads. I feel like they always start like super young. And I don't know if you're on, a lot of yous will be on TikTok at the minute, but a lot of my For You page there's like one certain drug that is really fucking with the young uns, and it's like I've just said, it's easy to get, it's cheap, and it's there right in front of everyone, and that will definitely, I'm seeing it a lot. I'm seeing it, and when I'm on me TikTok, and it's a lot of people who are in recovery, and they're so young. These are young girls, young boys, and it's just like, it actually like it's upsetting to see. Do you get what I'm saying? Because they've got so much life ahead of them, and then they're getting caught up with this drug, which is cat. And I'm not here to be like, oh, don't do drugs and all that kind of stuff. Well, obviously don't, but if I get that it's there, and that's what people don't realise. Like when you're out or you're surrounded by a certain group of friends, there's got to be a point where it goes from just like I've just said, from like innocent little days out, innocent nights out, to where things like this become almost normal. And I think, you might be saying, oh, it's a bit like whatever for me to speak about things like this, but honestly, I feel like addiction, I take it very seriously. I've dealt with, not myself personally, I've been an addict, but I've seen people close to me suffer with addiction, and it's probably the hardest thing that you will ever witness in your life, because you want to help so much, but it's hard. So I feel like me doing this episode is kind of to like raise awareness a little bit around the topic, because a lot of the time and a lot of the things that I'm seeing online, these young girls, boys, you do it because it's fun, you with your mates, you're out, and it's so easy to get caught up in it all. Like, I'm not saying that it's not, I 100% think it is, because everyone's doing it, and it's like, well, if they're doing it, then why can't I do it? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, what's the big thing about it? And then you try it, and some people can go and do these things and go and have the fun, and then they can go back to living their normal lives, and it doesn't like seep into that. And I'm not saying that go and do that, do you get what I'm saying? But it's not everyone has that experience with it. Whether it's just a wide range of things, whether it's alcohol, whether it's like substances. But the main one I'm really touching on is cat, because I'm seeing so much of it just everywhere. When I'm watching on TikTok at the minute, I feel like the big thing at the minute is people who have been suffering with an addiction with cat, and you will literally see that a lot of the people are all young, and that's like the damaging part about it. But what they're doing is they're creating a TikTok account, and they're being like, right, this is what's been going on, this is how I got into it, and this is where I'm stopping. And it's kind of like an account where it's like a diary, it's like their diary, but everyone can see. And I actually do genuinely think, I know that I always slag TikTok off for like trolling and stuff like that, but that's one thing that I do love about TikTok, because even though there's so much badness sometimes on the app, and some people might be watching these people thinking, why are you putting that out there for the world to see, or why do you want to like openly admit that? But for me, and like I've just said, from what I've seen in the past with people who have got addictions, that takes so much courage. It takes so much, like it really does, because to admit that, one, to yourself, because that's one thing that when you get into them situations you're good at doing, and it's being in denial. And the fact that, first of all, you can admit it to yourself that you've got a problem. Second of all, you can admit it to your family and your friends, because that's a big thing that people really mask it and hide it for so long. Because the thing with people who have got addictions, I feel like what people get twisted is that they want to be that person, and that's like what they're choosing. And 90% of the time, that's really not it. It's because in their brain, they feel like there's no other way around things. And admitting it to people that you've got a problem when you can't even admit it to yourself it's not going to happen. Do you get what I'm saying? So the fact that these people, especially being younger, is why I've got so much like proudness of yours, really, in a way, is because coming forward on an app that you do know a lot of hate goes on, and being able to openly speak about your personal addictions with this drug, it's helping. I do believe that it is going to help. Like, I see it. There's this one girl that I watch, and I think her name's Lauren. She's Scottish, and I've been watching her for months now, and she's been in recovery for I want to say quite a while now. And she literally built this community of people, and the amount of people that she's probably helped over this timeline of her having this account, she's not only helping herself by having this like whole support base, she's also helping other people. So when I see other people do it, it's like, I'm proud of you, okay, for one, because I know that it's probably embarrassing to, like I've just said, you feel embarrassed. There's nothing to be embarrassed about, because so many people will deal and suffer with addiction at some point in their life. Just if you are one of them people watching this person, or you know this person from your local area, and you're like buzzing off them, don't fucking buzz off them, because I'm telling you now, you really don't know what life has in store for you and what could come later down the line. Just because they're dealing with it now doesn't mean that you won't deal with it at all, trust me. So always be aware of that. So yeah, so it all started when I obviously started seeing this Lauren. It might be Hannah, it might be Lauren, there's one of the two, I think. Anyway, and then because I was interacting with their videos, liking them, commenting, then now it's like Me For You page, it's like a lot more people are coming to light. And then as I hear, like, a lot of them, it's like, oh, I can't even wrap my head around it. So what my point of view on things is, when you think of an addict, 9 times out of 10, you kind of think of, like, you have this picture in your head of what you would assume an addict looks like. But a lot of the time, and most of the time, that's very far off what it is. Like, you'll see literally the most normal, young, gorgeous girls, even boys, you'll see the most normal looking people, and they will be suffering with it. That's why it's so important to always check in with your friends. And if you're a brother, check in with your little sister. If you're a sister, check in with your brother. Like, your parents, everyone, because like I've just said about being in denial, that also, I feel like when you're dealing with addiction, you do end up lying a lot because you don't want to like come to terms with it. Do you get what I'm saying? And that's why it all relates back really to the generations and how I feel like it's changing, because when I was young, I feel like the drug scene or not like that was kind of introduced to me until I'd left school. Now you'll see a lot of people that are in school who are using like every day. So when I was in school, I've always gone on about my dad being so strict. I think the most I've done while I was in school was probably got caught like smoking a bit of weed or something like that. And because of the way that he would act over that, I was so scared. I would never, ever, ever like even imagine what he would do if I was that age, like touching that other certain drugs. So I was always so scared, which I'm glad in a way. But don't think for 1 minute that like I've been some like angel in my life, because I definitely haven't. And I've talked about situations before where my dad's kind of like got onto straight away when I've been going down a bit of a like bad path, where he dragged me out of it, which I'm super grateful for now, obviously. But at the time, I'm thinking, you're so dramatic. Do you get what I'm saying? But when I look back now, I'm like, oh my God, no, that was definitely the right thing to do. And I feel like a lot of when you're like in a situation where drugs are around, and even though some people will be like, you just shouldn't take them at all, blah blah blah. When you're in like a certain area where it's just like so normalized now, I feel like it's normalized in general. Like, this is another reason why it relates back to social media, and that kind of probably being a big part of why people are doing it so young, because it is kind of glamorized now. It's funny being off your head. Like, people will share the funny videos, and then it's given the impression that, oh, it's fun to do, and then people may go and then try something or do something because they're expecting that level of like what you see online, because you see a lot of it now. It's so normalized to like just post about taking drugs and doing things like that. And when you think about it, it's actually insane. It's genuinely insane how normalized that it's been, because it's actually kind of not normal. And I don't even disagree with, like, if you want to go out and, like I said earlier on, some people can go out and do what they want to do, and then that won't affect their normal life. But it's so important to recognize that when you're taking something, whatever, it's taking you out of reality. So you're having an amazing time, and then for every other time that you go out, you're constantly going to be chasing that first time high. Like, I always remember one story that my dad always would tell me when I was a kid about when he tried his first like tablet. And I used to think, why is he telling me this? And now I'm older, I'm thinking, oh my God, like, no, that is so wise. I'm glad that he did. I remember him saying, like, listen, my dad's completely teetotal, doesn't drink, doesn't smoke. Like, this man is completely like anti-drug, honestly, does not agree with them at all. And I remember when he said he went to Creamfields for the first time when he was young, and him and his mate had the first like tablet. They had the best night of lives. He danced all night. He was dead loving. He said, I've never felt a high like it. And I was like, so, like, and what then? And then he said the next weekend they were all going out again, and he rang him and was like, Gary, are you coming out? Like, we've got more like what they took the weekend before. And my dad said, no. He said, they were like, why? You loved it. You said you had the best night of your life. He said, exactly. He said, because I know that what my personality's like with him having a bit of with him having an addictive personality, he said, if I end up coming out and do it again, then I'll do it again, then I'll do it again, then I'll do it again. And before I know it, then I'll probably be addicted to that drug. And that is one thing that I honestly will credit my dad for a million things, but he's got such a powerful brain. Like, that's where he knew what that was going to take. Do you get what I'm saying? And that is the thing, though. Like, when people are trying these drugs, you're not trying them thinking, am I going to get addicted? You're trying them because you think that you're going to have an amazing time, but you don't know how much you're going to end up liking that drug. Do you get what I'm saying? You do not know how much. That is personally why I would just stay away from from them if you've never touched them. Like, once you have a drug, it's like you do chase that high again. Do you get what I'm saying? And you're like, oh, when are we next go out? We'll do this, we'll do that. And then it just turns into a cycle, and then you never know, no matter what kind of person you are, you never know once that can change from having fun to basically taking over your whole life. And it applies not just to drugs, really. It applies to everything. Like, alcohol, I feel like personally alcohol is one of the worst drugs out there, because it's just everywhere you go, you can't avoid it. So me personally, I don't have a good relationship with drinking, just because of other things that I've seen, like, and what it does to someone when you have got a very addictive relationship with it. Like, I just hate it. I hate it so much. That's why I don't really go out and drink and stuff. And I'm kind of glad that, even though my dad will say that he's not glad, but I'm glad that I had me days when I was young where I did make me mistakes, and I did party and I did do all these things, because now I literally hate going out. I hate, like, and not that you should, but I just hate, like, the whole, like, when I was in Ibiza last, like, the feeling that I felt, I was like, I should not be here. Like, I've literally just, that just doesn't kind of sit with me no more, the whole life. Like, every now and then I'll go and have a little party and I'll go and do whatever, but it's just like, I've just grown up from that, and I'm glad that I have. But then some people get trapped in that, and that's why it's important to recognise. I think as well, your friends and like the people you surround yourself with are so important. Like, I always have said this, I've said this before, and I'll always say it, but when I moved out to Liverpool and then moved to Runcorn, and I never really glued with any friends, and I never had that solid group of friends. But if I would have grown up in Runcorn or Liverpool and I would have stayed with them friends, maybe I would have, like, what's the word? I would have been around some, like, especially in Runcorn, I feel like I would have been, if I gelled with them, I would have been around some people that would definitely have not have been good to be around at a certain age. And that's the point where there is peer pressure. It doesn't matter whether you're like, oh, I couldn't get peer pressure to do not. And it's not that you don't get peer pressure, but it's like, when everyone else is doing it, like I said before, you might end up having a little dabble of it.
This video is sponsored by I'm So Pretty Official. As a valued trade customer, you will receive luxury hair extensions at a discounted price, and you will also have your own account manager. At I'm So Pretty Official, there are 14 different shades available, as well as custom colours. They also offer lengths from 16-inch to 32-inch, and you can also get different styles of hair, from wets to nanos to tapes. So guys, you are going to be getting exclusive discounts, tailored prices, and you are going to have access to next day delivery if you order before 1 p.m, and you can get same day delivery if you are local. The best part about it is, even though it's a trading account, you will still have access to different options on how to pay. There is actually an option that is called Pretty Now Pay Later, and you can use that and basically pay with Klarna and ClearPay on your Clear account. To set up your trading account today, visit I'm So Pretty Official and get it all set up. Bye.
And I think as well now, I feel like I've had a few messages off, like, parents and stuff asking me to speak about it, and I feel a bit like I don't want to come across in the wrong way or offend anyone, because it's such a sensitive subject to talk about. But the reason I wanted to speak about it is because if there's one person watching who this may help, if you feel like you're maybe going a bit down the dark route, if you know that you're being surrounded by like the wrong friends. There's nothing wrong with growing up and growing out of people. Like, that's something that people may be scared of. But when I got to a certain age, I feel like I was looking at the people around me thinking, you just don't align with me no more. Nothing to do with like drugs, but I just mean in other ways as well. Like, it's just, you've got to like kind of have a bit of a clear out with friends and people who you've got around you as well, because they play a big part of like where you will go in life. Like, I know that sounds dramatic, but it is. Like, you want people around you that uplift you. You don't, if you've got friends that every single time you're around them, you're potentially like up to no good, whether it's using drugs, whether it's getting absolutely shit-faced on the ale or whatever. If bad habits come from being around certain people, then that's where you need to establish that relationship may have come to an end, and you need to cut it off. And there's nothing wrong with that. You can't be made to feel like a bad person if the only thing you do together is not bringing you any good. Do you get what I'm saying? And I also feel like mental health nowadays plays a big part into why so many young people are getting hooked on this drug. And mental health is huge now. Like, so many people suffer with it. So many people like deal with so many different things. And that again links to what I was saying earlier. When you are out and you end up trying something, no judgment, I'm not judging. We've all been there, we've all done it. But what I'm saying, well, not all of you, all of us, but when you try it, if you end up really fucking liking it, then when you go through a hard time, it's like, oh, I need to just go out and basically get off my head. And I know you might be thinking, it doesn't work like that with everyone. If you don't take drugs, you might be thinking, oh, it's not, that's not it. That's like a bad mindset to have. But at the end of the day, addiction, everyone has an addiction. Everyone has an addiction. Some worse than others. But even like your vape, I was saying this before, I know it sounds stupid and I'm not comparing the two, but you know, if I'm stressed out, I need my vape. I start rattling. I'm like, where's my vape? You know, when I lose my vape in bed, I'm like, oh, where the fuck's my vape? If I'm like stressing out, I just need it. And it's like, you rely on that. I remember I actually quit vaping for months, and then something happened and I was like stressed, and I drove straight to the shop and bought a vape. And it was like, what the fuck? Why have I just done that? Because I was doing so well. Like, I should have just stopped. But it's just like, everyone has something that they fall back on, even if it's like eating. I know it sounds weird, but when I was younger, and I've spoke about like how I would deal with situations when I was younger, it was definitely like binge eating. I would end up going on a huge binge, and if I was dealing with something like with me mentally, then I'd be like, oh, I just need something to like cheer me up, and food would be that like vice. You get what I'm saying? So I do feel like mental health plays a huge part on this whole epidemic right now. Like, it really is an epidemic. Like, it's actually scary and it's so sad. And I think that's what a lot of people need to understand as well, with people who are using or are taking, like, what are they going through? Like, it's sad. You get what I'm saying? If you've got to the, like, it got bottom of whatever they've dealt with, not in every case, I get that. Not sometimes you just end up falling into it, but a lot of the time that's where the addiction comes from, because it's just like, that's your drug that you fall back on. And there's so much like help out there that I want people to know of as well. I feel like we're gonna leave like maybe a few numbers that you could call if you feel like you need to speak to anyone, because sometimes it's hard to go and speak to your family or your friends or come forward with any, and sometimes it's best to just go and speak to a stranger and get it off your chest. But that is what I would say, guys. The best thing to do is, you know what's normal, you know what's not. I'm not saying that if you do drugs, you need to speak to people, because I'm not saying that at all. But if you know that this is getting a grip of you and it's creeping into your everyday life, and you're using these drugs at home or just at any opportunity that you get, then maybe it's time to like sit back and think, shit, like, this isn't normal. Do you get what I'm saying? And it's starting to ruin the way you are. If it's affecting your work, if it's affecting like the way you wake up and how you feel, then you need to address that. And the quicker you do, the better. And that's what makes me so scared for people, because I get now that it is so normal, and everyone's out partying and going Ibiza and doing all these things. So when it comes to actually admitting, like, shit, like, what is the healthy amount of, like, how often should I be doing this? That's when you're thinking, maybe I am overdoing it a little bit. You get what I mean? So I feel like overall, my advice, one would be, when you're seeing these people online, to make sure you're being kind, because I've just said it takes a lot of courage to come on, and all they're trying to do is come forward and admit these problems, because it probably will help them stay like sober and help them stay on track if they've got these strangers online showing them support and uplifting them, and people also putting it out there, because then so many people who have also been in their shoes, who are now 6 years clean, are coming to them in the comment section saying, look, I'm 6 years clean, I'm doing it, and motivating them. So I just feel like, never try and shame anyone, even if you know them from, like, oh my God, that's that girl from school, blah, blah, blah. Like, never try and make someone feel a certain way for just trying to better themselves, just because, like I said, that's the unfortunate position that they're in now. Doesn't mean that you need to judge them for it. My second bit of advice would be to make sure you're checking in on your friends, make sure you're checking in on your family. You know, if you've seen your brother and he's going on, I feel like, you know, you get what I'm saying, when someone is maybe doing it too much or partying too much. Have a conversation, like speak to people. I know it's not a comfortable conversation to have, but it's definitely helpful if you know that someone that cares for you and looks out for you and is just like doing it out of the goodness of their heart. And three would be, personally, if you like I think I mentioned this before, but there was a few of my friends, I don't know if it did, but there was a few of my friends that I've never and still never ever touched a drug, and they would go out and they have the best night ever. They'd still make all the same amazing memories, but they wouldn't need to take anything to have a good time. Do you get what I mean? And I remember, like, they would say, and then I feel like that is something to take on board, because even though it's so tempting, I feel like it's so tempting in your younger years, when you're a bit younger. As you grow older, that temptation starts to fade off, because you look back at all the good times that you've had without using drugs or without, like, certain things. You get what I'm saying? So if you keep that innocence about yourself, this is what I always say to my little sister, please just keep that innocence about yourself. And it doesn't matter what people are doing around you. If you feel like, just know that you're going to get to an age where you're going to be like, I don't need to try it, because I've gone all these years and I've had all these amazing times where I haven't tried it. And point number four is, be careful what you actually are trying, because that's another thing as well that I'm actually a little bit like scared of now. Like, when I was in America, I didn't want to go out or not, but like, there's actually the things that these people are putting in drugs as well these days. Like, you're not just having that what you think you are. Like, the bashed with some serious fucking fucked up drugs, guys, like, so bad. And you're not just like, you might not even end up just addicted to what you think it is. There's so many other things that you're having that without even realizing. So much harmful things that people are literally just dropping dead from. Like, I just think that would probably be like me little bit of a roundup. I just wanted to do an episode just to, like, first of all, create a little bit of awareness around it, because you don't realise what's going on. There's literally like cat wards and stuff in the hospitals now, because so many patients are going in with the same issues, and it's like cat bladder, cat cramps. Like, I rarely watch all these videos, and it actually, like, scares the life out of me. And I hope that the people that are sitting there making these videos, I hope you know how much awareness you are making as well, because you're taking something that you struggle with so much and you're turning it into, like, education, literally. Like, you are turning a really dark thing in your life, and you're warning other people, and you're helping other people. Like, me watching these videos, because I will literally sit there, scroll, I end up texting them, I end up commenting on the videos, like, you're doing so well. Like, I'm actually like a proud stranger. And I also want to make a point of just be careful. Like, please, if you're growing up in today's day and age, even boys, any boys are watching this, like, I know that it's probably more influential with boys. Like, but I personally feel like boys are definitely more easy to be peer pressured than girls, because it's just like all the lads now. That's like the thing, isn't it? So I just think you've got so much, like, life ahead of you. You just don't even realise it. When I remember when I was like 18 and I went through like a really shitty time in my life, I literally thought, for fuck's sake, like, I'm always going to feel like that. And then I've come out the other side of it, you get what I'm saying? And that's what you need to remember. So many people love you. So many people want the best version of you. You should want the best version of you. And there's so much help there if needed. Like, I'm going to leave as well on the screen here, like, a few of my favourite, like, people on TikTok that I've been watching who are in recovery, whether it's from cat, whether it's from other drugs. And if you are suffering, then maybe go and scroll to the bottom of their page and watch their journey from day one, from their, like, first day sober to now where they're like 6 months sober, a year sober, and they'll give you like the greatest tips of all time if you are in that position. But another thing that I do want to say before I go, please don't be embarrassed to speak to people. Don't feel embarrassed to come forward to your mum, to your dad, to your brother, to anyone who you feel like you can like really trust and confide in, because that is what they would want. They would literally rather you come to them and tell them that you've got an issue than to keep it masked and to hide it and to end up like in hospital or to end up like really harming yourself. Do you get what I'm saying? So never feel embarrassed. Like the people who love you aren't going to judge you, and trust me, it happens to the best of us. Like, don't feel like you're any less of a person for struggling with addiction or from struggling with these situations than people who haven't, because like I've just said to you, you really do not know what life has stored in for anyone, and just because you're suffering now doesn't mean that they might not suffer at a later point in life, and that's why you should never judge people. And yeah, just maybe be kind, guys, to people, because this is what I mean. You really don't know what someone's going through, just in an overall assumption. And yeah, that's it. I really don't. I hope I haven't like rambled or don't even know. I just wanted to speak and say as much as I can say, and hope that at least one person sees this and hopefully, don't know, just either realises that they might need help or just to guide us a little bit about how it is, because I know how it is. I've been there, and I know it's literally so hard in like today's society to like not go down that path. But yeah. Anyway, I'm going to wrap that one up there. I just hope that this reaches the right people, and I love you all very, very much, and I will see you next week. Bye, guys.
Tea time with Livvy.